Vergil Ortiz beats Maurice Hooker. Now he's calling out Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. We're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Before I get started, get TUBEBUDDY. Use my link to get TUBEBUDDY. If you have a YouTube channel, doesn't matter. If you know someone who has a YouTube channel, doesn't matter what the genre is. I tell you guys all the time, invest in yourself. It takes money to make money. I started off with 0 subscribers. Now I have over 200,000 and we're continuing to grow, continuing to work. A resource and browser extension that I personally use on the daily for my channel is TUBEBUDDY. So I'm recommending it. Use my link, get TUBEBUDDY, dig in, and it'll help your channel develop and understand YouTube and grow a bit better. And that's what I use. Now, Vergil Ortiz, he looked pretty good versus Maurice Hooker. There were vulnerabilities and flaws shown as well, but all in all, he was the victor. He won, so congratulations to him. In Texas, he beat Maurice Hooker, and he got the stoppage. He started to pile on the punishment later in the fight. He started off, I thought he started off pretty good, pretty sharp, rounds 1 and 2, and then round 3 and 4, Vergil Ortiz started getting hit a bit, and Maurice Hooker started backing him up. And I seen some vulnerabilities right there, because you look at the end of the face, Vergil Ortiz's face was pretty marked up and, you know, tattered up. And he called out Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, who happened to be in the crowd for the particular fight in support of Maurice Hooker. And, you know, my thing is this. I've said on the channel for years, LSI, I created it. Let's see it. So if Vergil Ortiz Jr. and his team feels he is ready, then go ahead and give him those big names if you can facilitate a deal. I don't know if they can, because Vergil Ortiz is a golden boy fighter, and most of the guys, the big names that he's calling out, are either PBC or top rank. And we don't know what Terence Crawford is going to do. His top rank contract is said to expire sometime around October of this year, but Terence Crawford believes that the call out from Vergil Ortiz is not sincere. He's done interviews and says he don't really want me. He don't really want it. He's just kind of following through and saying he wants it, but he don't really want it for real. Errol Spence, I haven't really heard much from him, but Errol Spence, I don't see the Errol Spence Vergil Ortiz fight happening, because Vergil Ortiz and Errol Spence, you know, you got the politics. Errol Spence has bigger fish to fry. He could fight Ordenis Ugas for a third belt. Why would you fight Vergil Ortiz Jr., who, to my knowledge, is not even, you know, the number 2 ranked person or number 1 ranked person for any of the belts that Errol Spence has? However, he's ranked highly with the WBO, which is the belt that Terence Crawford has. So in my estimation, I don't really see Errol Spence and Vergil Ortiz fighting. You know, there's pictures of them together. I think they're pretty cordial to each other. I can't say like great and best of friends, but, you know, I think there is some type of friendship or relationship there. They're both from Texas and whatnot, different ages. And, you know, I just feel like Errol Spence he's on a quest or whatever, and they're building up his brand and he's doing these big venues. It's just like, why would you not? Boxing is a business at the end of the day as well. So it makes no sense when Al Heyman has your Dennis Ugas and he's free. I don't think he has any mandatories, because he just got elevated to the WBA regular champion, and you have this opportunity. You got to strike while the iron's hot. Why wait until Ordenis Ugas gets ordered to fight somebody else through the WBA, like Sergey Lipinets or whoever they have ranked, when you can strike while the iron's hot, get the exemptions or exceptions if needed, and make Errol Spence versus Ugas? But as far as Terence Crawford, people have been longing to see him in against someone who they feel is in prime or formidable. I can't say Vergil Ortiz at 22 is in prime, because, you know, that's just a young, tender age. I don't know if that's your prime at that particular moment, but he is a good fighter. You know, he has some things that he can tighten up on, in my opinion, mostly his defense. He was getting hit, and Maurice Hooker was a 140-pounder who moved up to 147. So he wasn't really the most proven guy at 147, and he gave Vergil Ortiz, you know, all he can handle for a couple rounds, or at least in spots. Nonetheless, Vergil Ortiz got it done. My personal opinion, I don't think Vergil Ortiz is ready for the top guys, the Keith Thurmans, the Terence Crawfords, the guys like Sean Porter, the guys like Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. That's just from what I've seen. You know, he's 22, he's developing. He could be the next Fernando Vargas. And that's just somebody who was showing a lot of promise and then kind of rushed into the bigger fights with Felix Tito Trinidad and things like that. And that's the thing. It could be just like the Trinidad fight, where if you guys remember Felix Tito Trinidad versus Vargas, Trinidad was dropped early in that fight. But then the experience and stuff, like the fact that Vargas couldn't get him out of there, and the experience and the power and stuff started to wane on Vargas, and then Vargas ended up getting stopped in that fight. So I do think even if Vergil Ortiz were to now fight one of these top guys, I think he'll do his best to acquit himself. He might even be able to hurt these guys because it looks like he has some decent, pretty good power. But all in all, experience, you have to factor these different things in. I don't see him beating the Crawfords and the Errol Spences especially. You know, Keith Thurman, same thing. Keith Thurman has a style and a lot of experience. People are banking on Keith Thurman being inactive. And to me, that's not really a good, that's like more wishful thinking. I don't think you should look at boxing when we're doing like fantasy fights and stuff. I don't really look at the worst version of that fighter unless patterns or history have shown me that they're actually done and washed. You know what I'm saying? Like Kell Brook, I knew he was going to get thrashed by Terence Crawford because that's the point he's at in his career. He didn't look like the Kell Brook of old. But I can't say Keith Thurman, who lost to a split decision to a Hall of Famer like Manny Pacquiao, I can't say he's washed. You know what I'm saying? So that would be a very tough fight as well for Vergil Ortiz. That's just my opinion. I like what I'm seeing from Vergil Ortiz. I think he is still growing, but at this moment, I just don't see him beating those top guys. Let me know what you guys think. Is Vergil Ortiz ready for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, the guys he's calling out? And more importantly, will Golden Boy make the fight? Like I said, I don't care. Make the fight. Tell Oscar to make the fight. I'll pay for it. I'll watch it. These are good fights, and if fans want to see them, then I'm down too. I don't mind watching them. I'm just giving you my assessment. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Also use my link to get TUBEBUDDY. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.